mark on history as major champions. Well, we have to play at least 7 rounds, but I suspect we're going to have more than that between these two juggernauts. Let's get underway with our 4th map here in Mexico on Consulate.
If you're wondering who that was screaming, I'm going to give you one guess. Okay? I hope you guessed. It was Alamo. Go figure. Not surprising, he has been incredibly hyped up for this event, and he's going to carry that all the way into the finals. We talked about the hype factor that Team 1 have, and yeah, it's funny to think, Parker, that Team 1 was inches away from being eliminated in the groups. Just barely made it in by the skin of their teeth. So, Buck and Nomad, the attacker bands, Empire with the Nomad as per usual. The Buck is a big one there from Team 1. I wish I spoke Portuguese.
I wish so as well, but alas, we only speak English.
It's because we are typical conceited North Americans. Smoke is going to be the final ban, joined by Valkyrie for the defense. The Smoke and the Buck bands, quite interesting there for Team 1.
Absolutely. These are two operators that are played very religiously on this map in particular.
Yes.
By Empire, and these are calculated bans. Obviously, we're going to see a very different Consulate from what we saw against Liquid and then also against BDS. It was Team 1 to 7-0 Liquid, as we would like to remind you, but it required all 15 rounds for Empire to topple BDS. Without the Smoke available, could we potentially see a brisk attacker-sided Consulate, just like we did when there was a Jaeger ban in play for BDS versus Empire yesterday?
It's quite possible, Parker. And I like the Smoke ban because it very much targets ShepparD, who is such an integral part of any defense for Empire. So getting rid of that is going to be really important in the second half. Now in the first half, though, I don't think it's going to upset Team 1 too much. Obviously, it's their ban, so go figure. It's going to be a Teller's Archives defense to start us off here. Nothing crazy going on here with the operators on either side. JoyStiCK on the Jackal has not been as potent a force with that Jackal as I would expect. And they've also been putting JoyStiCK on these roles, on these jobs, I guess you could say, where he needs to solo clear a huge amount of land by himself. And I don't think it's going to be as much of a problem on Consulate. We've discussed this before since we've seen Consulate like so much. How many times has it been played? It's up there. I think it's like 7 or 8 times through the tournament, but it's been played quite a lot at this tournament. So I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah, actually it's the most played map, by the way. This will be the 14th time it's been played.
Wasn't it the most played map at Six Invitational as well? If memory serves me correctly, it was the most played map.
I can check that real quick.
Which was funny because we went from almost never seeing it in, like, I think it was the EUL and NAL to then it being played like the most across the Six Invitational as the best-of-1 system just brings it out quite often.
Yeah, Consulate finds its way into the map pool at these events for some reason, and it is kind of interesting to watch, and especially considering it's one of the more balanced maps out there. Looking at the stats, it's not the most played at the Six Invitational. It was the 3rd most played, so it was played quite a lot, but not that much. Not as much as this event, or not as much as in this event. Empire still have yet to get the initial pick that they so desire. No roamers being cleared out here, and that's been a problem for Empire throughout the series. Team 1's roamers have been ever elusive.
The one thing I will say about Empire is that they attack this map very similarly time and time again. And if you're Team 1 and you've done your homework, you know what to expect. Now, obviously, a lack of Buck might change that up. But instead of Dan playing the Buck or playing Ashe, whichever role you want to find him on, he's going to play Ashe or potentially IQ here. Now you're going to have Always on that sledge permanently. Yep. Teller's Archives defense, by the way, is what it appears to be in the silhouettes. Once again, not wanting to be led astray. And because of that, you're going to need to ensure you have visa control. Then you also want to take above it in admin and hold most of that 2nd floor. Right now, Ali Mao still exists up on that 2nd floor, so he will be a nuisance, and you'll have to get rid of him.
Again, this has been consistently an issue for Empire. These roamers, they're not leaving, guys. You got to do something about them. Ali Mao and KDS are going to make problems if you just leave them there. And Team 1 have been allowed to do this time and time again on all of the maps we've been playing. It didn't help them very much on Clubhouse. Actually, no, now that I think about it, Empire did clear roamers on Clubhouse, but they haven't been clearing roamers since they left Clubhouse, and it's been really weird to watch.
Oh, KDS might get the first kill here, but sloppy aim as Always walks away with 1 HP. That was a gift to Team 1, but instead, Empire finds their footing quite admirably, I would say. And that's going to hurt for Team 1. Lagonis now will try to get back to the bomb site as the diffuser gets planted in the very capable hands of ShepparD. Every member of Empire still upright, and Dan will hold off cross. Neskin gets one on the Scyther, but this is an almost impossible task, as there goes Neskin as well. Lagonis in a 1v4 to start this off with. He finds one, but that's a lot of damage to take as he still continues to fight at the top of Banana, and Dan ends his reign. Well played by Empire to start off strong here on Consulate with the very first round victory.
Very big start there for Empire, but I mean, what happened with those roamers, man? I mean, okay, first of all, the roamers did catch Empire off guard, okay? So, number one, Empire's not droning out the top floor. Number two, they're not even face-checking the entire top floor. And number three, Empire are not watching their flank on the top floor, where there are 2 players from Team 1. And yet still, despite that, in both engagements, Team 1 get the heads up, they have the advantage, and they just lose. That's hilarious. It's negligence from Empire, but great reactions from individual players to salvage the situation. And it's just whipping from Team 1, who are in the advantageous position. Hilarity incarnate, Parker.
Well, Team 1 are not quite eager to repeat possible mistakes. They'll go upstairs to console office. The one bomb site that we tend to see with these bans get played less frequently is that garage bomb site down below. But both of these teams will be prepared for it should it show up. Team 1 likes to bring out the unorthodox. We saw them successfully defend the garage of Chalet, which is usually the most attacker-sided of all the bomb sites on that particular map.
5 seconds left.
So, I mean, if the smoke ban is any indication, then there won't be as much of a fight for the defenders when they go down below. We'll see, though. All we can do is speculate.
The roam upstairs, obviously going to be a problem as they extend into admin. I like those pests on the admin windows because it's really annoying to get a drone into there. And yeah, the admin windows, if they're just pested up, you're gonna have to come from somewhere else entirely. So maybe Skyroll Spylight, maybe the balcony, something like that. But
Skyroll Spylight?
yes, Skyroll Spylight.
That's what you just said.
Yeah, I know.
It's my favorite kind of Spylight.
Bomb located by
Spylight. I like that. I'm gonna use
Droning
that.
out yellow, by the way, first 30 seconds of action. Team 1 are not really eager to fight over towards console offices. I repeat the same phrase I said at the start. Levy's the first one to take some damage right now as Empire are on the windows watching the bomb chassis into console office.
Oh.
Top of Banana is Neskin, and Dan is actually in, and so is ShepparD now. Okay, no smoke to stop them. No toxic canisters to go out. There goes the shield. Lagonis doesn't understand this, and ShepparD with 1 minute off the clock gets the diffuser down. There was 2 minutes remaining, but now it's 40 seconds. The timer will work very much against Team 1 as all of Empire try to vacate the site. Ali Mao goes down, but technically the first kill goes out in favor of Team 1. They're going to need some really, really strong work here to be able to make this one a possible comeback. And they'll hop out, but down goes Ali Mao. Nice play by Team 1. They're actually doing an excellent job taking the fight to Empire, and Team 1 have the upper hand in this one. But on the windows, the repel play is just way too strong. Team 1 trying to battle back, but they've only got 4 seconds to go. Levy with a potential run out, but they don't have so much time. 7 seconds, nobody's on that diffuser. KDS gets on it, but it's hopeless. It's 2-0 for Empire. Even if Team 1 gets all the kills, doesn't matter.
Well played there from Empire. There was just, I think, a second too late there for Team 1 to be getting on that diffuser. And, well, talking about time, you mentioned it as it happened, Parker. Really fast plant from Empire. And no counterplay whatsoever from Team 1. Yeah, they had Yokais, the Echo, but those got shot. So, no other denial. You talked about the smoke ban. That was a major factor. I mean, yeah, I think Empire's smoke play is better, but still having a smoke is super nice for denying in situations like that. I mean, imagine what it's like on the bottom floor, let alone on CEO. So that's a problem for Team 1. The Echo, again, doesn't work. There's nobody near the site.
Protect your bombs from being defused
Super,
by
super easy plan for Empire. And they didn't even take any risks. They placed their smokes well. They had the good coverage, the cutoffs. Everywhere they were looking good. It's crazy that Team 1 almost brought that back, but it was so stacked against Team 1. There was almost no chance of that plant once that plant went down.
Well, I mean, they're just taking full advantage of this. Team 1 were the team that got rid of the smoke, and yet despite that, Empire realized that they can make quick work of these sites, especially if they can isolate the players who are playing off of that site itself. So Team 1 need to figure something out. They just need to be able to slow down this rush of Empire. And even though Team 1 were very strong in the post-plan, playing off of the windows, Empire just simply realized that the map plays effectively well for the attackers, especially if you can hold those windows and just continue to wear down. If Team 1 had more time, I'm sure they probably could have made something work, but alas, only 40 seconds is what they could have, and I'm not really sure what Alimao was doing here, but an early grave is his reward, as Scyther gets the first pick with only 15 seconds off of the round.
Here come the exothermic charges from Empire, and open goes the garage. Neskin has good control inside a bathroom, and he's going to use that mirror window to make it even more deadly. But it's just side play for Empire. They don't seem to care about the roamers.
They're in already, again taking advantage of the fact that there's no smoke. Teams will trade out. Dan dies as Neskin and him are a perfect 1-for-1. JoyStiCK goes down to Lagonis, and it's another post plan. Immediately, Empire turns tail and gets out of the site. It's a 3v3 as Alimao had died early on. Lagonis feeds himself in. A jump from the Malusia Levy goes nowhere, and Empire perfectly stopped them, and it's 3-0.
I mean, the objective play there was 10 out of 10 for Empire and 0 out of 10 for Team 1 for 2 rounds in a row. Haha. Yes, this problem persists, and Team 1 have not made the correction. It's really weird to watch, frankly. Frustrating to watch, too. And that's why you might hear that in my voice. A big part of this, obviously, I remember last round on CEO defense, where I was like, oh yeah, the smoke was a problem. Imagine what it's going to be like on the bottom floor. Well, we just saw it. We just saw what it would be like on the bottom floor. Team 1 suffered from having no practical denial. And Empire cut all the possible crosses to directly confront the defuse planter. I don't know. Empire are outplaying Team 1 by playing minimalist siege, and Team 1's not ready for it. They don't know what to do to answer it. It's causing us to go to a 3-0 right now. And this is still far from over. I know you can hear the frustration in my voice, so don't let that get you thinking that this is a done map yet. It's just there's mistakes being repeated here from Team 1, and it's weird to watch. They've been so good at adapting in the past. Where is that now?
There's no way they just killed their chances on this map with the smoke ban, right? There's no way.
There's
no way.
They
right?
had to have contingencies, right?
I mean, they've now essentially lost the first half because they can't win it.
Yeah, there's no denial. And like it or not, smoke is still, along with Tachanka actually, but you have to, here's the thing about Tachanka, you really have to practice Tachanka. You have to know the lineups. But smoke and Tachanka are the only 2 good options for indirectly denying a diffuse plant from way far away. Yeah, you've got Echo, yeah, you've got Maestro, but those are very counterable. Yes, you have C4, but they don't go very far, and they're easy to shoot mid-air because they're very slow. So it's smoke and it's Tachanka, and I guess they're not playing Tachanka because they aren't practiced on him, and yeah, he has a very high skill floor.
I gotta say right now, I mean, 3 rounds Empire have been able to walk in and get a plant down. And yeah, Tellers was a bit slower, but Console Office and Garage were so quick.
Yeah.
And both times, it was solely because there was nothing to stop you. Your Echo play wasn't good enough. Your Maestro play wasn't good enough. You didn't have anything else to really stop them. And the only other viable option right now, as you pointed out, is that Tachanka, but clearly, Team 1 are not comfortable on that role.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I saw the smoke ban from Team 1, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, they're countering ShepparD, and they probably know how to use Tachanka here. But I guess not. C4 from Always, and it misses.
Nobody's home. The rappel is way farther down.
I also think he didn't even make it onto the windowsill there.
No, Alimao's toss was not particularly good. The intended target was Always, but he was looking in a different direction.
Ooh.
JoyStiCK falls, though, by the way, and KDS is next in line to greet 1 player for Empire. An opening pick for Team 1. This will be their 2nd so far, but it's answered back. Alimao goes down. He's now 0-4. That is not ideal. A grenade goes in, but not a good target. And once again, Dan up top. He cuts Levy down from that spiral skylight.
See, I got you doing it now.
I know, you got it in my head.
The spiral skylight.
The spiral skylight. The spiral skylight.
There you go.
So being held by that angle, Neskin will look to re-peek. You're now at the position where because Team 1 trails, they want to get ballsy with this, and they can't really do too much because Dan is just on another level right now. Unworldly.
Yeah, and it's KDS and Printer to be the shining light for his team, but he pushes into admin, exposed to Always, who tries to land the shot. Nate goes out to force him into an engagement, but it's bad timing. Someone's got to cover the push. The aggression from KDS as he picks up a triple kill, putting his team in the advantage 2-1. Dan will rappel down, but he's caught by Lagonis. What a play from KDS. And you can hear Team 1, they are super excited.
Extremely sloppy work from Team 1 and from Empire on that round, but KDS is the knight in shining armor for the team. Puts them on his back, and Dan was in such a good position, but this Vigil, just what are you gonna do in that position? Both Always and ShepparD get confronted upstairs inside of admin, and there's no answer for KDS on that spot. And if I'm Team 1, I am just as surprised as Empire is right now. Goodness me. I gotta say, you know that he's gonna push you. You have to hope that somebody on the window has that line of sight to help you, because the moment that you pull out the grenade, what happens time and time again? You pull out the grenade, your opponent hears it, and they run at you, and they get the kill. And we have seen this a dozen or two times so far throughout the major. Why would it be any different in this particular round? That is a rookie move by Always, unless Always thought that ShepparD was watching on the window, at which case that is ShepparD's fault, not necessarily Always's. But either way, there's a blind spot in the attack of Empire that is fully taken advantage of by KDS.
There's been a lot of blind spots in Empire's attacks and defenses so far through this match, and I suspected going into this that Empire's playstyle would hard counter Team 1's, because Team 1 relies on those blind spots, relies on those openings, those mistakes, that negligence, as we've discussed before. But no, Empire have been leaving plenty of gaps, and Team 1 are taking full advantage. That last round, we should be 4-0 right now, Parker. Frankly, it was a 4v2, and KDS just stepped up and popped off. And all he had to do to achieve that is push into the enemy who's not expecting it. Well, sometimes that's the right play.
Absolutely. So, it looks like we're going to see a lobby defense right now, and that means that Team 1 through these 4 rounds, or through these 5 rounds, have now gone to every single bomb site. Good for them. Kudos, I would say.
Keeping it fresh.
Once again, the silhouettes are leading me astray.
It's hard to tell on Consulate because a lot of the bomb sites are actually like...
Yes, very similar spots.
Yeah.
Yes. Lobby and console office tend to look in the same area, and then garage is also very similar. They're basically all the same floors. Just
horizontally, of course, different vertically, but we can't always tell.
Yeah.
Now, it's a hacked drone there from the Mozzie of Ali Mao, and he won't get it out. He has unfortunately been not very successful on this map so far, whether it come down to his drone work on Mozzie or his ability to get kills, which is particularly problematic as he is that star player for Team 1.
He sees the rotate as well down below, so you have to be aware of somebody playing in that particular direction. Well, try to take advantage of it if you can, but it'll be something that Always will call out, and then KDS taking some damage from either Scyther or Always in the process. That's really all that's happened thus far as we hit the halfway mark, round number 5. It's a nitro cell that goes off that does not have a target in mind, so Ali Mao pulled on that one a little bit too early on. Superstar of the previous round, KDS, will now take upstairs as he gets Jackal tracked.
He's been the performer for his team this map. He's going to need to do something here again. Once more, I must mention that Empire are failing to full clear the roamers before addressing other parts of the defense, and it's dangerous to leave KDS in this connector. They're going to need to deal with this problem at some point. Ali Mao will be coming up to support him from yellow stairs. Team 1 just trying to hold on to that top floor. Here comes the mark, and that's on to Ali Mao. So he's made the long marathon over the other side of the building. That mark is not going to be very useful.
Yeah. Well, Ali Mao watching this angle. This is an oddly quiet and very slow round for both of these teams, Michael.
Yes.
Nobody seems to really have an answer.
No way.
KDS has a nice angle, and no way they don't manage to see him up top. He can be the thorn in their side. Diffuser going down, and KDS looks away at the wrong time. He manages to get the kill onto JoyStiCK, though. Starting things off, ShepparD looks to be successful as Dan answers back. KDS no more. ShepparD also down. But Ali Mao's a little bit too slow, as the diffuser still goes off quite successfully. Scyther sees Ali Mao trying to retake lobby, and down he goes. Now Empire in a 3v3. Dan looking for one more, a double kill on his end. He takes out Lagonis and also Neskin. What an incredible play from his end. Long range, it's Levy to try to keep his team from losing this first half. Empire looking for this 4th round, a knockout blow in the first half. They've got the diffuser down, and Levy will look for the doorway, but no, the sledge out-duels him. Always is better in that regard, and down Team One goes. 4-2 at the best for Team One this half, but 4 rounds for Empire. They can make it 5-1.
Parker, it's really weird to go to 3 different sites and have the same analysis for every single one of them. Once again, Empire, objective play, 10 out of 10. Team One, objective play, absolutely abysmal. No denial whatsoever. There were things in position to deny C4 from below, through the drop. We're used to seeing that. Just came out way too late. Also, you have to admit, it is hilarious that we saw ShepparD crouch under KDS's line through that drop in projector. I mean, I was talking about how if Empire doesn't clear out the roamers, they're going to get punished for it, and they almost did.
Yeah.
It's just that ShepparD was just underneath KDS's line of sight, so he didn't see him as he just creeped by into the site. That's tragic. Absolutely tragic for Team One. And, I mean, yes, Empire got away with it, but frankly, I think that particular push, that hinges more on Team One than anything else. So, Team One struggling on the defense here of Consulate. Main lobby now working for them. They're going to go to the bottom floor. They've been here once before. It did not work out. In fact, last time we were here, they did the same thing that they did last round. Empire just walked in, planted, and held the post plant, and that was it. That's the story. That's been the story for a lot of rounds through this map, to be frank, and I'm wondering when that's going to stop for Team One. We talked about how influential the smoke is in this equation, and it surely has been. There's no real direct denial being brought from Team One to avoid that. Also, opening up the walls for free because of the Thatcher, that's a big factor too. The bans are a little wonky here, and it's just catching, I think it's catching Team One very off guard.
Would you call them funky bands?
I would call them funky bands, Parker. I mean, these are some of the most funky bands we've seen
we
so far.
started the event off with this meme. We have to end it with the same meme, Michael.
Of course.
Breach has been opened up, and Empire are not going to have the same gusto to walk right in that they had previously, so poor ShepparD, not able to get more diffusers down. He's been so successful, though.
Yeah. Now, the mirror windows are going to be a major factor here, of course. Specifically on this bathroom position, it's hard to take it. Well, there's a Mira entrenched there. C4 pre-placed from KDS. He's waiting for information, I would assume, before he triggers that. Got some hacked drones. That's going to be problematic for Empire. Empire's been real bad at clearing out the roamers. Every single drone that they lose causes problems for them.
First bit of action as Dan inside a lobby at Nitro Cell goes out. Down goes JoyStick.
That's a
It's not
pre-placed
ideal
one.
for Empire as they want to be able to push us to a 5th and final map here in this best of 5.
Yep. Team One could still rally this situation, especially if you get the 4-2 split. That's pretty solid, all things considered. There goes the exothermic charge. Not sure exactly where. Something's open, that's for sure. It looks like it's, yeah, going to be on the bathroom wall, and Dan has firm control of bathroom. That's going to make it hard to play by pipes, and he's actually going to ash charge security hall. Plan's going down, though, and there's no denial once again.
Nobody's watching, no smoke in play, no Nitro Cell. Yellow control right now being held by Empire. Even though they trail in numbers, they get out of dodge very quickly. This is so tough for Team One. Look at that. 3 bodies of the 4 for Empire are as far away as the diffuser as they can be. And it's planted in the wide open, but nice shot from Levy. Almost looked like Ali Mao collected on that one. Scyther swings. Levy's still on 1 HP playing on this panel. Ali Mao drops, gives his position away. Levy gets another to his name, but always is the insurance policy. Levy's last one alive, and look at the hurt he's doing. Now he's on the diffuser. Dan is there, and Levy's looking the wrong way. The first half. 5-1 Empire.
Wow, what an almost comeback there in the round for Team One. They very narrowly lost that. It was a 1 versus 1 in the end. But they did lose it. The score is 5-1. The attack heavily favored here on Consulate. I've got a great idea, Parker. ShepparD's really good at smoke. Let's go to Consulate and ban smoke. That'll be great, right? That'll definitely work out. We won't be punished by that. We can deny in other ways. That is like 3 or 4. I think it's 4 rounds now that Empire have won simply because there's no denial for Team One. Oh my, it is frustrating to watch. And now that we've switched halves, Empire are the ones who are going to have to deal with that frustration. We'll see if they can handle it. We might see the very same thing done by Team 1 onto Empire that Empire did onto Team 1 in the previous half. It's very easy to do the objective play when you don't have a smoke and play. Especially if you could deal with the other counters like the Evil Eyes. The C4s are too far back to be influential. Maybe that's why we see Empire going to CEO to start things off. Because you can play the C4 from below. That's one of the best ways to consistently deny the plant. We'll find out. I don't know.
Really remarkable first half by Empire, and this is not the Team 1 that showed up yesterday on this map. That is absolutely for certain. What can they do to right this ship? Well, Empire are currently maybe having some flashbacks here because it was 5-1 against BDS. And Empire, we turn around and we go, ah! Empire certainly got this one in the bag. What a slog. What a slog this is going to be for BDS. There's no way they're going to come back.
And then they do.
And then they did the damn thing and they came back.
Yeah, so we are in a similar position right now. We'll see if Team 1 have got the chops. Again, these bans are very difficult for the defense, and look at that. First pick for Team 1.
Not a good start for Empire.
No, sir. Good start there, in fact, for Team 1. And JoyStiCK, actually, though, has been pretty bad through this map. All things considered, not holding it down the way he has done in previous series. In fact, last time JoyStiCK played Consulate, he got 20 kills. So you can just add a 0 to his 2 that he has right now, and that's where he ended against BDS. So, with Team Empire down a player, Team 1 will slow down a little bit here. They want to consider their options. They know they've got the advantage, but there's no reason to throw that away. Be very careful with the push that you decide to commit to. And it's definitely going to be an admin office as they have firm control now. Here come the zero cams, the Sam cams, as you like to mention, Parker. I think that's the...
I think it's a funny, quirky way of talking about them.
It's the correct way to address them.
It's not even just JoyStiCK who's having a bad game, by the way. ShepparD, in terms of kills, has not done a great job of finding the scoreboard. But hey, guess what? He's got 5 diffusers planted.
Yeah. I mean,
he's
doing his
all
job.
Of them have been successful, for the record.
Yeah, I mean, it's been him getting that plant down that has won all the rounds for Empire, practically.
It shows right then and there that, hey, the smoke ban did not hinder Empire at all on attack. It obviously hurt Team 1, but I assume that we're going to see the same Consulate shape up the way that we saw yesterday. And well, right now, obviously the smoke is not a critical operator right here, as Team 1 have picked up 2 very early kills onto both JoyStiCK and Dan, but it's a run out from Always, and he's going to take one down, immediately burst on through with the pulse right next to him. ShepparD falters as he finds his very first kill, and it's Scyther and Always in a 2v3. Diffuser, though, being planted by Lagonis. KDS trying to stop any possible retake from these defenders. Down below, Scyther has some intel, and there goes the Nitro cell, and manages to down KDS. I don't know if this intel has been given. The Thermite of Lagonis hopped out onto the balcony with Levy watching. KDS still down, which means that it's a 2v2. And KDS at this point is not really recoverable. Levy sees them both pass, and I don't know if he's going to give that information to Lagonis, but at some point they'll have to play off of it. Always is waiting, looking for this angle. They see him on the foot, but no, Lagonis wins the fight. He pops up. Always his patience might be rewarded here, but he's going to have to go in a hurry over on the window. He sees the Thermite. Bullets go out, but the Thermite drops onto the ground. He takes the fight. He pivots, but no, Lagonis stops him, and Team 1's comeback could start now.
The foot, Parker. He saw the foot and chose not to shoot. Team 1 take full advantage of their balcony control, and you can see Alan Mal is feeling it. Team 1 in general, very loud right now. I had to shout to talk over them there. Maybe I should just let them talk. I wish I knew what they were saying for the umpteenth time. Oh yes, that's a failing on my part. So Empire, 5-2, but clearly Team 1 are feeling better on attack. And that's, I mean, as you would expect, as going into a Consulate with the bans shaping up the way they have right now. So 2 players on Empire with 10 kills, by the way. And then 2 players with less than 3.
Defenders, protect your bombs,
excuse me, fewer than 3. Empire going upstairs. Let's see what they can do on this top floor.
Well, Empire at least had one saving grace yesterday. They won their very first defense. And that's what allowed them to stay on match point this entire time. That was a bit of a sluggish start for Empire on defense, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Now ShepparD is no longer on that very fateful smoke roll. Instead, on the Maestro, a suitable operator for him. The rest of the team will need to play around that. And ShepparD's importance on attack comes solely from what he brings in terms of that objective. Obviously, he can kill very well, and he knows how to do that as Smoke extremely effectively. He's got a killing machine with the Alda in hand, so we'll see what he can do in this particular instance. As Empire failed on console office previously, and they'll go right back there. It was still relatively close, but close is no cigar.
Nice holes being opened up here for Vertical from Empire. They're just trying to make sure they can control the main lobby to avoid anybody clearing the players out downstairs. Because if you're going to have a roam downstairs for Empire, it's nice if the anchors can assist those roamers when the roam clear comes out from Team 1. The roam, by the way, existing because of the C4s from below. The potential that offers for the defenders to deny a plant or retake later in the round.
It's the first 45 seconds off the board. Ali Mao also having a sluggish performance for his team, but you don't make it to the grand finals without depth. We've said that exact line a number of times, and it's very true for Team 1 as well. They've been led right at the moment by KDS and Lagonis.
So,
Lagonis might not be able to do the same amount of damage on attack, given the role that he's currently playing on. That ace can still frag well, but he will likely be your primary hard breach. And oh my goodness, okay, ShepparD from a kill hole from above, or actually rather through the window. He takes down Levy. A nice start for Empire there, and an ADS will catch the grenade. One still in the pocket of KDS as they look to try to equalize against Team Empire. Got some protection behind them. There's Surya gates on the windows. ShepparD knows that there's somebody else out there. Is he going to be so brazen enough to swing? Yes, he is. But he misses out on that advantage. He'll re-engage, but this is a fight that he really doesn't need to take. And yet he still is so intent on taking it. JoyStiCK is there. He runs in, runs out. There could be another kill for him as Ali Mao on top of the balcony. Could have exposed himself. He'll hop in. Why? Because all of his team is dead except for him and Neskin. He realizes what needs to be done. And they start to kill, but there goes Ali Mao. And Neskin with a 6-7 record will need to go positive. Finds himself in a 1v4, and Ann will shut him down. Empire moved to match point here on Consulate.
they're looking super solid on Consulate, Parker, and it's been Empire, Empire, Empire all the way. That first round was a little scary for Empire as Team 1 managed the attack on the top floor. But it's a very different attack. And this time, Empire, crucially, they give us assertive, preemptive counterplay. That's what you need to see from Empire if they want to be successful on defense. In fact, that's what we needed to see from Team 1. Okay, you don't have the denial that you want. You don't have the denial that you clearly need. I mean, you put yourself there, but okay. So what do you need to do? You need to play in a way where the attack cannot get to the plant position.
Read them all the way forward. That moxie that we saw on Coastline that allowed them to take an 8-6 stunner over Empire has been absent here on Consulate. And it seems like they're being outdone by their own band. They get rid of the smoke, and then Empire clobber them on attack. They get rid of the smoke, and Empire pivot and play around it on defense.
That's the thing.
In EUL, smoke bans are not that rare. We saw Na'Vi ban smoke earlier on in this event.
Yeah.
It was something that Jess talked about on an analyst segment, describing the fact that smoke as a staple operator, same with Jaeger, are very common bans in scrims and in matches in the EU League. Empire were prepared for this. Team 1 thought they did their homework, but it seems like they only hurt themselves thus far.
I don't think it's homework, Parker. I think it's, oh wow, ShepparD's really good at smoke, let's ban him. I think that's what it is. Because ShepparD is easily one of the best smokes in the entire world. I think that's a pretty fair statement to make. At least top 5, and you could argue who else is in that top 5. But ShepparD is, he does work on smoke. His placement is excellent. So yeah, I get it. But there's no contingency. You need a contingency. If you're putting yourself somewhere, you have to account for that. But yeah, I mean, it's like they walked out into the wilderness without a map. So here come the Electro Claws. Empire, they're going to be setting up downstairs. They're going to try and deny that wall for as long as possible. Get this, everybody. Thatcher's not banned, but who do we not have on attack?
Thatcher.
Yeah. So that's going to be hard to open up that wall with the Electro Claws in play. They'll have to do some destruction, some nades or something.
Oh,
but look at that. Down goes JoyStiCK, the
and
first
Neskin
pick.
looked so surprised, too. You see the look on his face.
Yeah, he did not seem to be expecting that one, and I mean, he's happy for it, though.
Unideal. That top floor being held by JoyStiCK despite the fact that it is a bottom floor defense, and I am fascinated to see how Empire thinks they're going to be able to pull off a garage defense given that there's no smoke. There obviously must be some confidence level here. The good news is that JoyStiCK's effectiveness in this particular map has been about the same as a terrorist bot. So you've at least got the worst player on Empire off the board. That's still a win for Team 1, don't get me wrong, but Empire have tons of firepower and explosiveness left to deal with Team 1. The question mark is going to be, of course, the bomb site. The bomb site does not seem well tailored for a smokeless defense. We'll see if Team Empire can surprise us. They're on match point. They do not want a repeat of what they saw yesterday against BDS, so they've got to ensure that they make up lost time and ensure they don't repeat those same mistakes. We've about half of the round expired, still about a minute and 15 seconds left to go, and a Nitro Cell goes, called perfectly, as Neskin perishes. A grenade drops, but it doesn't do any significant damage, and both teams find themselves into a 4v4 with 1 minute left.
That Nitro Cell is just one of the examples of assertive play that you need to bring out in order to counter the lack of plant denial. There goes the wall opened up, so they got one of the Electro Claws, and now you've got panel 3 and some of panel 2 nice and wide. Levy also inside a bathroom. He can make a play from the drop. Scyther's getting aggro. He knows he needs to. He's also got his C4 pre-placed, or someone else's C4 actually. He'll be calling for it with the cardiac sensor.
KDS on yellow stairs, absorbing a bunch of damage, as Ali Mao was waiting very patiently to see what he can pull off. Scyther right up on that panel, very aggressive. There's a Nitro Cell there, and another one will get tossed out, but it goes onto the breach, doesn't do enough damage to Lagonis. Scyther taking a beating, KDS on the flank, and he might be able to exploit this, but he misses out, and Dan can't win the gunfight. KDS is still there, and Team 1 are sweeping right in. ShepparD on the retake, though, good enough. Lagonis, diffuser in hand, he's getting it planted. This is the match on the line for Empire. They need to shut this one down. The Guardian right now is Levy, as Lagonis will get out of dodge, but down goes Lagonis. He can't do too much. He won't be able to get out of there. Levy's still holding this angle. They realize how tough this is. Team Empire just did this to Team 1, as they've all scampered off at the site. Always finished off by Levy, as ShepparD will now need to deal with one player outside and one player above. He knows how challenging this is. No Nitro Cell in his hands, so he's going to have to wait for Ali Mao to make a mistake. ShepparD will go on, and there's Ali Mao looking for him, trying to outduel him. ShepparD will go back onto the diffuser, but Levy encroaches now, and he'll seal the deal as Team 1 stay alive. Do you feel that, Michael?
Yeah, that's the energy. That's
but
the
do you feel that?
I feel that. Okay.
Do you feel it coming, Michael?
I don't even know what it means, but
it's
I
coming again.
feel it.
I foresee overtime.
Score is 3-6 right now, and you can bet your bottom dollar that if we don't get to OT, now everyone will blame Parker. But
why am I to blame? I did nothing wrong. I don't have any superpowers.
Are you sure about that? No.
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that? Yeah, no. Based on the results of that round, I mean, it's clear to me, at least, that
attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
I don't want to talk about smoke again. I really don't want to talk about smoke.
You mean like
Parker.
you didn't want to talk about Jaeger or Valkyrie?
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Well, you have to do it, so deal with it.
I do have to, because that's what happened just now.
We'll do it.
Yeah, there was no denial. End of story. And we saw a much better go of it from Empire for denying without a smoke. You talked about how they're more prepared to not have a smoke than Team 1. That is clear. But it still wasn't enough. Team 1 got that objective down. They played it well in the post plant. Good job to them. It's definitely a lot more expensive in terms of manpower, but hey, job done. So it's worth it. JoyStiCK had 2 pests in his pocket, and he chose to shoot that drone instead. Interesting. So
attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
actually, now he has 3 pests. He just picked up his, yeah, he's them all active, I guess. Empire finding themselves in a good position, all things considered, but they're definitely going to need to do something to stop the objective play, and it's obviously it can involve the typical roles. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought out Tachanka, but again, you really do need to practice Tachanka for him to be viable. He's so viable if you practice him, but not everybody does.
I feel like we haven't had a good example of Tachanka yet. Na'Vi tried. Downstairs on the bottom floor, yes, but I still feel like there's untapped potential for Tachanka that we haven't witnessed.
Space Station on Villa, remember that?
Michael, I distinctly said on Consulate, please follow along.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Unbelievable.
It's half deaf, is my excuse.
You can't keep using that as an excuse.
I totally can, and I just did.
4 years of casting together, ladies and gentlemen, and every time he doesn't hear or doesn't listen to what I'm saying, he goes, "Oh, I'm half deaf."
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh my god.
I'm half deaf. You're going to have to speak up.
Empire are on match point, Michael.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Is that loud enough for you,
I'm
son?
half blind. I didn't see that. Thanks for pointing it out to me, Parker.
Oh my goodness. Anyway.
Not actually that one, though.
There you go.
So,
JoyStiCK had died early in the previous round. Despite it, they still came close. That was map control that was held up top. With Empire losing that piece, then Team 1 were able to very quickly coalesce around the bomb site and get that diffuser planted. This time around, it's another garage defense. And it's been second times a charm thus far for Empire on their console office or defense. Are we going to see the same thing here?
that was big from Levy, getting the mute jammer. You know, they could, of course, just bring a Thatcher. It'd be a lot faster. But, hey, job
not
done.
possible. Inconceivable.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Yes.
Not possible at all.
So, wall opened. No thermite being brought here from Team 1, so it's a small hole. And look at that damage being taken from Ali Mao as he tries to peek the breach. It appears there's another mute jammer on panel 3, so they're going to need to deal with that one as well.
Flank cam set up by Levy. Scyther's been down. That's the first player to go. The first domino, potentially. He's not really recoverable, or yes, he actually is. ShepparD is right on top of him, and they'll lose some of the ceiling, but they have to reposition. JoyStiCK is still at the back of the site. Given what KDS did, finding that loophole and sneaking down sight unseen, they need to ensure that this is not happening to them again. But JoyStiCK gets spotted by the Sam Cam. His position is known. And in come the Candelas. Smoke might go out at some point. Lagonis gets the diffuser down. Always falls first. Team 1 with the upper hand in the ensuing fray, and they'll get out of dodge as quickly as they can. No yellow control for Empire. They will fight from the back of the site as the rest of Team 1 just simply vacate the premises. Another kill comes in for Ali Mao this time, and he gets shot away at by Dan onto Lagonis. Down he goes. JoyStiCK on yellow stairs. He will try to outduel, and he does a good job of it. And all of a sudden, Empire have a fighting chance, and it gets even better for them. But still, they lose ShepparD. JoyStiCK will need to clutch. This one gets real tough. His position given away, he'll fight, and then it's a simple kill, but no, Ali Mao puzzlingly missing it. Neskin has great patience. 11 seconds left. JoyStiCK is on it. From above, Neskin needs to wait. He can see the head of it. Can he? JoyStiCK falls off. No, JoyStiCK is staying on it.
No!
JoyStiCK stays on it. Empire gets the round. A huge blunder by Neskin, and that's the map for the Russians.
Oh my, Neskin, you cannot do that. Just about as bad as it could have gotten there, Parker. Vertical control is basically unwinnable for the defender in a post plane. In that situation, JoyStiCK